Johnathan Frakes has said that the success of Strange New Worlds has been a little bit bittersweet.
Cross your leg over the back of it and slam down. Command that chair.
Why? Welcome to Sidetrack, your sci-fi TV and movie channel.
Don't fret, Riker. My good fortune is your good fortune.
I don't need your fantasy women.
In Discovery, we got that series where Pike was the captain. We saw the Enterprise briefly. We saw Spock. We saw Number One. And when that series ended, the fans went berserk. They screamed at the top of their lungs, "Give us a series of that. We want to see Anson Mount as Pike an awful lot more. We love how you've cast a lot of these characters. Give us a full-blown series." And then when they did, pretty much everyone loved it, the fans and the critics alike. Johnathan Frakes was recently talking about this in an interview, and he said, "That was great. It was brilliant to see Star Trek being appreciated for the show that it was." But a lot of people started saying, "This is the Star Trek we've been waiting for. This is the Star Trek we want." Not Discovery, and not at that point the first two seasons of Picard. And Johnathan Frakes cannot help but feel that that is a little bit cutting, especially considering how much he was involved in both of those projects. The reason why I'm doing a video on this, though, is I am so grateful to see somebody really high up acknowledge the fact that Strange New Worlds, and then Picard Season 3, to be fair, is more like Star Trek than what came just before it. Discovery and the first two seasons of Picard is not what a lot of Trekkies wanted to see. We don't really understand it as Star Trek. We don't identify it as Star Trek. Particularly the first season of Discovery, however beautifully it was made, stuck in the throat of a lot of Trekkies because of things like the way the Klingons were, the way the Klingons looked, a lot of the way the ships were, and the way, oh God, the way Starfleet behaved, and changes to canon, etc., etc. And if you like the new Trek or you don't like it, you have to appreciate and have to acknowledge, really, that it's been divisive. It has really divided Trekkies. Some do adore it, and all good for you. Some adored Strange New Worlds musical episode. Some hated it. Whichever side of that argument you appear on, it's divisive. And Johnathan Frakes is really, I think, brave and honest to acknowledge it. Some hardcore Trekkies that are on the pro-New Trek side don't want to acknowledge this at all. They don't want to admit that some people and some hardcore Trekkie fans don't like the new series, and they don't want to acknowledge why. A lot of fans will say, "Oh, canon, it doesn't matter. It's a TV show." And Strange New Worlds, for example, is a new TV show. So yes, of course, they can change things. Whereas other fans think that's sacrilege, that actually think changing canon really takes the mick out of everything that came before. What is the point of having a show within a franchise, within a universe, if you don't respect what came before? For me, I'm a little bit in between. I think canon should be respected, but I do think that if the story demands something, that canon can be fudged. There are certain rules that can be bent. There are certain rules that can be broken. And there are certain rules that can't. There are certain things, if something is historically referenced, that should not be changed. For example, Spock hasn't got a sister. There was no need to do that. And Spock having a sister is a good example, because there was no reason to do that. There could have been lots of reasons why Michael Burnham felt strongly about Spock. They trained together or something else, something that was logical and makes sense would have been better. Now, don't get me wrong, the way they did it, because Spock's dad had lots and lots of wives, a couple of human wives over the way, having a half sister, all right, fine. But the fact that it was never mentioned, that's something that would have been mentioned at some point, is a problem and annoying. A lot of fans really have warmed to Strange New Worlds, mostly not the musical, but have warmed to Strange New Worlds. A lot of fans are desperate for legacy following season 3 of Picard. We love these shows so much and we are so desperate for legacy because we can see that it's Star Trek again. We can see that it's not Alex Kurtzman's J.J. Abrams version of Star Trek. It's Star Trek. And for me, I can understand why Johnathan Frakes, because he was involved in lots of those projects, he's directed Discovery episodes, etc. I can see why it would cause a bittersweetness for him. But more importantly, I can really respect that he has been brave enough to say it out loud. Something that a lot of us Trekkies have been screaming for a while. And hopefully, the reset that we've been seeing over the last couple of years of Star Trek can continue. And where Trek is going over the next few years is going to be a place where all of us Trekkies can feel we actually recognise it as Star Trek. Old and new fans alike. They will continue to make TV shows for different demographics, a younger audience, an older audience, a in-between audience. But to be honest, if they just focused on making good Star Trek, good TV shows with an interesting cast, they would make us all happy. Just like Strange New Worlds has, mostly not the musical. But guys, get into the comments and tell me what you think. Do you think Johnathan Frakes' words are brave, or do you just think he's being honest? And actually, this is obvious. What are Trekkies that can't see this thinking? Or actually, do you think, no, Johnathan Frakes is way off here. All right, New Trek was different, but it's still good. And, okay, maybe there's been a bit of an evolution of the secret hideout version of Star Trek, but it's all been logical and made sense. And, maybe you don't see what people are complaining about. I'd love to know exactly what you think. Get into the comments. If you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. It really helps us out and you'll never miss any of our new videos. Also go to patreon.com/SciTrek, where most of our new videos premiere first and you get to see them without the adverts. Also, you can go to scitrek.co.uk, which is our dedicated website where we do articles based on many of our videos and we try to add a little bit more information for you to digest. As always, please stay safe and I'll see you next time.